Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Buckeye Weekly Podcast. I'm Tony Gerdeman, here as always with Tom Orr. Tom, how's it going?
Tony, it is transfer portal season once again. I feel like this is like it's Groundhog Day once again, but it is transfer portal season once again. And this time it is good news for the Ohio State Buckeyes as they add a pretty solid veteran player at a position of some significant need on defense.
Yep, adding Florida State safety Earl Little, 6'1", 200 pounds, led the Seminoles in tackles this past season with 76, led them with interceptions with 4, 2 tackles for loss, 2 passes broken up, 2 forced fumbles, defensive MVP, second team All-ACC, fills a need, especially with the recent departures of Malik Hartford and Fahim Delane. So Ohio State goes into the portal. Earl Little not out there in the portal very long, just a couple of days, and Ohio State gets him wrapped up. And now the nation can begin to heal, but there's still work to do. But this is a very, very good start.
Yeah, I think this is a tremendous start for the Buckeyes because with Caleb Downs departing for the NFL, that is one of the biggest holes you had to fill on this year's team. And the other safety position, I think they felt great about Jalen McClain. You know who he is. What he's going to be able to do. You should have a very high level of confidence that if he's out there, he's going to be doing. He will do exactly what they need him to do. So then the other safety position, it was just a matter of. I think the big takeaway that a lot of people have had from the college football playoff this year is find the veteran guys. Go into the portal, get the veteran guys, have the most experienced team you can have, older guys, more physical guys who have played more reps, guys who have gone through more off-season conditioning, all that kind of stuff. And that's what they get. And, if you view this, you view this as a trade deadline trade in baseball, and the Buckeyes traded 2 safety prospects to the portal and got back a veteran safety to help their stretch run in 2026. Honestly, I don't know that that's a bad way to look at this because, yes, you're going to you can't keep everyone. You can't keep everyone. And so, that really is kind of the trade-off that they feels like had to make here.
Earl Little comes from American Heritage, where he was a teammate with Ohio State wide receiver Brandon Ennis. He was a top 100 player in the class of 2022. Initially signed with Alabama as a corner, so he's got some of those skills. I think when you're talking about trading him for a couple of prospects, some of the issue or the consternation or concern that some Ohio State fans would have is that he's really only had 1 year as a starter, and he's been in college for a while. Now, granted, that year was pretty good. It was just this past season, and that's the most recent evidence that we have that he's pretty good player. Very solid in the season opener against Alabama. Has been all over the place for them for Florida State this season. 13 tackles against Virginia, 9 in the season opener against Alabama, and really just a very involved piece of the Florida State defense. And when I've watched portions of games here in the last couple of days, you see him all over the place in terms of sometimes he's up top, sometimes he's in the box, he's moving before the snap, he's creeping, he's doing all of these different things that we've seen Ohio State safeties do this season. And Tom, you've set the rule that we cannot compare safeties to Caleb Downs. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying there are some things that you can do with a safety that is multi-purpose like Earl Little. Caleb Downs, again, these are just separate sentences, Tom. They just running 2 rivers alongside each other. They never meet, but you had Caleb Downs doing a bunch of things. I think with the addition of Earl Little combined with Jalen McClain, you can have those 2 guys. I think they marry well because I think they can both play free and strong. So you can do whatever you want with those 2 guys.
Yeah, and with Little's background as a corner, you wonder if you can. I don't think he's going to be a nickel on any kind of a full time basis, but you wonder if you can kind of steal some reps at nickel here and there, maybe. We'll see. I would like to do a deeper dive on his film and then watch him during spring practice, really, especially, and see what he looks like. Trying to, if they are looking at that, if they're considering that, and what he might look like in that kind of role, but flexibility is what they're really looking for back there. You don't want guys who are pigeonholed, because if you have well, this is our strong and this is our free and they can only do this one thing, then guess what? That makes you real predictable for the offense. If your strong safety can also be your free safety, but maybe can play a little bit of nickel at times, well, that allows you to change that picture from pre-snap to post-snap, which makes a pretty big difference. This is the third show that we have recorded talking about Earl Little. The first one did not make it to air because we did it as this is a name that's a real possibility, and we just want to throw this out there. And then, before we had even gotten a chance to, we finished that, and then immediately Fahim Delane went in the portal. So then we scrapped that one and did the Fahim Delane show, and then talked about him at the end of the Fahim Delane show. But I'm almost positive, Tony. We've done 57 podcasts in the last 3 days, but I'm almost positive that the fun fact that you put out about the number of interceptions that he had Earl Little had in the 2025 season, 4 interceptions. Doesn't sound like that many, but Tony, let the good people know the last time an Ohio State Buckeye had 4 interceptions in a single football season.
Yeah, that was 2017. Damon Webb had 5. A former corner turned safety, Damon Webb, had 5. That was the year after Malik Hooker intercepted everybody. And so it's been a while. Ohio State, you can look over the last few years. Since then, team leader has 2 or 3. Not a lot. So you've got somebody here who has a history of that. Now, so he's got 1 year of eligibility left. I think it's interesting that he was the special teams MVP for Florida State in 2024 and a captain in 2025. To give you an idea of the effort, the player, had high hopes at Alabama as a top 100. I'm going to be another Alabama first round corner. Didn't go that way. Worked his way up through the system at Florida State. Now finds himself at Ohio State and presumably in the starting lineup with Jalen McClain. And like you said, has some coverage abilities. And we'll see how things go there. But, a good ad for the Buckeyes. People have been wanting to see some defenders. Here's another one for you. And one with experience, one with age, one who has been now at, nothing wrong with grabbing a former Alabama defensive back. Let's just say that. I'm not comparing anybody to anybody, Tom. Calm down. But a good ad for the Buckeyes here. So there you go. Earl Little Jr., now an Ohio State Buckeye. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified. All those things. 5-star rating and review on the podcast. Always appreciated. Check out Tom's Buckeyes tomorrow morning as well. Subscribe to that one. That way you got both of us. Whenever you need us, we know right now you probably don't need us as much as you're getting us. But hey, tough cookies. Of course, you can continue to find us at BuckeyeHuddle.com. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will talk to you all later.